3, 2, 1. It's mock draft time. Everybody, this is going to be an 8-team fantasy football mock draft PPR. This is an 8-team PPR league. So we'll go to our draft settings. This is going to be a snake draft, PPR, 8 teams. Everyone gets 30 seconds to make your pick. We're going to randomize the draft order. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Randomizing. This is our order. Jorge the Goat's going first, Candyman second, but Fumble Sports is third. We have an auto drafting pick at number 4. Still valuable to learn how those guys draft. We have actually 2 auto draft. We might have some people jump back in. Bobby Jr. is here at 6. Yoni is at 7. Y. Weisberg and IP Shade 45 is at 8. You guys ready to go with the mock draft? Let's get started, and we are underway, everybody. And the first person on the clock is Jorge the Goat. Jorge the Goat is on the clock. Let me make sure I can screen down so you guys can see all of our picks as we make them throughout this mock draft. Justin Jefferson goes first. Hopefully you guys can learn a lot from this mock, when players go, who's going in which rounds, which positions there's a run on. So Candyman going number 2. Christian McCaffrey, Chase, Eckler, Kelsey, and Kupp are the top 5 players on the board. Jamar Chase goes second. This is a PPR league. I expected Christian McCaffrey to go higher. He didn't. He fell to me. It's a good pick, but it also means Austin Eckler is going to fall. Wow, Team 4 went with Bijan Robinson. So Bijan Robinson went ahead of Austin Eckler in this PPR league. Make note of that. Very interesting right now. Wow. Already kind of a surprise. 3 running backs go off the board in a row. Bobby Jr. is on the clock. Saquon Barkley, interesting pick. Y. Weisberg goes with Travis Kelsey, going with a tight end. Nick Chubb goes next to IP Shade 45. He's got that back-to-back picks in the snake. End of round 1, start of round 2. Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp. Interesting that Weisberg is going with Kelsey and Kupp. No running back in the first 2 rounds for Weisberg. Bobby Jr. goes with Henry. Team 5 goes Diggs. Lamb goes next. I'll go with A.J. Brown. I feel strong about that pick. There's been a run on wide receiver. I was thinking, do I want to go after a second running back? The answer is yes, I do, but I'm willing to wait until the 3rd round simply because this run on wide receiver in a PPR league certainly wanted to get there. Tony Pollard goes to Candyman. Jorge the Goat, who had Justin Jefferson first, making his 2nd round selection. Mahomes, Adams, St. Brown, Taylor, and Garrett Wilson are the top 5 players on the board. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes second. Jorge the Goat then goes with Josh Jacobs with his first running back pick. Certainly, Jorge the Goat has 2 really good wide receivers at Jefferson and St. Brown. Candyman goes Devontae Adams. Very interesting. You know what? I normally don't take a quarterback this early in the draft. I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes. Normally I don't, but the idea of having McCaffrey and Mahomes, I like the idea of having the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 running back. A.J. Brown certainly could put up number 1 wide receiver numbers. So I kind of like how I'm seeing the draft play out with everybody. Maybe that's a reach by a round, but I feel okay about it. I think I can get some other players that fall into my position. Mark Andrews goes to Bobby Jr. Weisberg goes with Josh Allen. Interesting. There might be a run on quarterback a little early here. Yep. IP Shade 45 goes with Jalen Hurts. So quarterback going a little bit earlier. 3rd, 4th round here. Chris Olave goes next. By the way, IP Shade 45 got Garrett Wilson as well. Really good team that he's building. Interesting. Why Weisberg still no running back? Bobby Jr. has his 2 running backs and a tight end, but no wide receiver. starting to get a little late in the game to get a good wide receiver. Higgins, Devontae Smith. He goes Ramondre Stevenson. Very interesting. Back-to-back wide receivers go next. Yeah, I was surprised that you didn't see another wide receiver go to Bobby Jr. He's got his 3 running backs. I'm going to go Travis Etienne here. Really like that pick in a PPR league. Harris goes to Candyman. Jorge the GOAT going next. Jorge the GOAT has these back-to-back picks and goes Jahmyr Gibbs and Lamar Jackson. Really nice team. Love what Jorge the GOAT is building in that number 1 spot. Candyman next to go. Candyman has a lot of options here with 2 running backs taking 2 wide receivers. He goes quarterback with Joe Burrow. Like that, the run on quarterback continues. So I have 2 running backs with McCaffrey and Etienne. I'd like to get a second wide receiver. Love the idea of taking Deebo Samuel in a PPR league. However, I really don't want to be doubled up too heavy on the 49ers offense, but I will take it. I also do like Calvin Ridley. I'll probably go Calvin Ridley here because I think he's going to go. So I'll go Calvin Ridley. I think Deebo could actually fall. Hall, Walker go next, 2 running backs. I felt like Calvin Ridley was definitely going to go in this round, so kind of building contingency plans. I'd like to get a wide receiver in the next round. Amari Cooper goes to Bobby Jr. Interesting. Amari Cooper was not on my radar. Weisberg goes Dameon Pierce. IP Shade 45. Where does he go? He has only 1 running back. He goes DK Metcalf, so he's got 3 wide receivers now. IP Shade 45 with his 6th overall pick, first pick of the 6th round. Running out of time on IP Shade 45's pick. And time is up. And he gets Joe Mixon as an auto draft. Not terrible, actually. Why Weisberg takes Jerry Jeudy. Interesting. His 3rd wide receiver. Not one that I would have expected from Y. Weisberg. Bobby Jr. next to go. He takes Justin Fields. Team 5s takes George Kittle. I get exactly what I wanted. I got Calvin Ridley in the last round. I thought that he was going to go in that 5th round. I thought I would be able to wait on Deebo Samuel. I was able to. I'm going to wait even longer, believe it or not. And I'm going to get my tight end because I want TJ Hawkinson. I think he could have a great year, and I'm worried that the tight end position that he could go. So I'm actually going to risk it even for another 4 picks, and I'll take TJ Hawkinson to really complete my starting lineup. Really strong lineup. Mahomes, McCaffrey, Etienne, A.J. Brown, Calvin Ridley, and TJ Hawkinson. Really strong. Candyman goes Miles Sanders with his next pick. Adding to the depth at running back, Jorge the GOAT has back-to-back picks now to go to. That tight end position has 4 players off the board. Quarterback has 6 quarterbacks off the board. Deebo Samuel finally goes to Jorge the GOAT, so I ran my risk, but I'd rather have Hawkinson, to be honest. I'm okay with that one. Wide receiver is definitely a position of need for me. Running back's a position of need. J.K. Dobbins, I love that pick by Jorge. Getting J.K. Dobbins as his third running back. Like that pick. Keenan Allen goes next. Depth at running back is going to get a little bit tough in a little bit, but I'll wait on it just a little bit longer. Man, tough spot here. I'll take DJ Moore. I'll take him as my 3rd wide receiver. Not crazy about it. I like DJ Moore, but in a PPR league, I'm looking for volume, and DJ Moore may not get that. He's going to get a lot of double coverage in that system there. The run on wide receiver continues. Allen, Moore, Hopkins, McLaurin, Kirk, Godwin. Like that pick by Yoni Weisberg on Godwin, Chris Godwin. IP Shade 45 takes a tight end in Kyle Pitts. As we work our way into the 8th round of this 15-round, 8-team PPR Snake Mock Draft. Madison goes next to IP Shade 45, getting a little bit of depth at the running back position. Williams next to go. Rashad White. Team 5 took Herbert. Team 4 took Kamara. So I still have the running back position available to me. I'll take Pacheco here. I'm going to double up on running back, though. I have 3 wide receivers. I have 3 running backs. In a PPR, probably need another running back. In a pass-catching variety. Drake London goes to Candyman. Jorge the GOAT now has his back-to-back picks in the end of round 8 and beginning of round 9. Watson, like that pick. Jordan Love showed some promise in that performance last night in his preseason debut for the 2023 season, at least. So, showed us something. Jackson Smith and Jigba. You know everyone's going to be looking to draft him. If you guys want him, you're going to have to make a move on him pretty aggressively. We're seeing, especially, the only reason he went in round 9 is because this is an 8-team league. James Conner goes next. Like I said, I feel like I need to get another running back. I'm willing to take DeAndre Swift. It's not necessarily the player that I'm crazy about as backup, but as a 4th running back, I feel pretty good now about my running back position. Cam Akers goes next to Team 5. I did have my thoughts about taking him. I think he could have a slightly better year than maybe we anticipate. He could be actually a sleeper pick for a lot of teams, again, in a round 9, round 10, where maybe Cam Akers can put up RB2 kind of numbers. Waller goes to Weisberg. By the way, Bobby Jr., I love what I saw from Dotson last night. And I think that is definitely going to hype up a lot of people drafting him or get people excited about potentially drafting him. So I will be curious to know where he goes now in mock drafts after that performance last night in his first preseason game. Brandon Ayuk goes next to IP Shade 45 as we make our way into the final third of the draft. Evan Ingram goes next. By the way, IP Shade 45 got Pitts and Evan Ingram. Really like that because Pitts is kind of injury prone. Like how IP Shade kind of built in an insurance policy around that. Weisberg got James Cook. Not crazy about him. Bobby Jr. doubled up on quarterback. Fields and Lawrence. Very interesting there. Team 5 took Hollywood Brown. Team 4 goes to Deshaun Watson, his first quarterback. I'm going back to the wide receiver position. And the fact that Mike Williams is available, I'm not going to overthink this one. I'll take Mike Williams, talented wide receiver. He's my 4th wide receiver. The fact that I have that kind of depth on my team just goes to tell me I'm well positioned to succeed in this league. Candyman is the next to be picking as we finish out round 10 and make our way into round 11. Top 5 players that are available at this point in the draft: Michael Pittman, Dalvin Cook, Tyler Lockett, Mike Evans, and Deontay Johnson. Cook and Njoku next. So a number of those players that were up there at the top come off the board. George Pickens now in the top 5. He had a nice little performance there last night for the Steelers. A lot of people are going to be higher on the Steelers today than they were 48 hours ago. Candyman to make his selection in this round 11. Would I take Kelsey or CMC at pick 4? Oh, it's CMC. Absolutely. I'm not as high on Travis Kelsey as others. Jordan Addison is the next one to go. What do I really need right now? Round 11. Don't want to start reaching on anything. I can get a backup tight end. Dalton Kincaid, Kmet, Freiermuth, wide receiver as well. I'll go towards the tight end position, and I will go Freiermuth just as the ultimate kind of insurance policy. Pittman and Lockett go next. Bobby Jr., he's gone wide receiver, quarterback, and now he goes running back with A.J. Dillon. That's a good pick. A.J. Dillon in round 11 is good value for Bobby Jr. Weisberg goes Gabe Davis. Interesting that Weisberg is loaded up on the Bills with Allen and with Davis. IP Shade 45 next to be drafting as we finish out round 11 of our mock draft. But Fumble Sports does a mock draft almost every day, every other day at this point. Oh, wow. IP Shade 45 with a mega move, doubling up on defense, takes the 49ers and the Eagles. Brilliant. IP Shade 45, you just own the market on defenses. Going to be really tough now for everybody else. You got the top 2 defenses. You can play them off and on based on matchups. I love what IP Shade 45 just did. Great call. Very aggressive move by IP Shade 45 to go after those 2 defenses. Bobby Jr. goes with the Cowboys defense, and now I'm feeling the pressure. There is this run on defense. I'm going to kind of fall into it. I'm going to go with the Jets. I'll take it. But wow, mega move by IP Shade 45. Candyman, you're now on the clock. Run on defense in round 12. Not what I expected. Very surprising. All instigated by IP Shade 45. But this is why we do a mock draft. It's a good test because now we're learning exactly how, when you have one player that does something that's a little bit out of character, how do you respond? How do you kind of make a contingency plan? Make sure that you have enough depth at this time that you can go make that kind of move. Candyman got Dak Prescott as his time expired. Jorge the Goat got George Pickens. I think that's a really good pick for where he's at. Now I expect him to go defense. Steelers defense for Jorge the Goat. Candyman next to go. We are in the final 3 rounds of this 8-man PPR snake draft, a mock draft to help everyone who's watching get ready for your fantasy football draft, get ready for your fantasy football season. Ravens defense goes next. I'm going to double up on defense. You might think I'd go with the Bills. I'm actually going to go with the Patriots, believe it or not. I'll leave the Bills out there. I think the Patriots could actually end up with a better defense. Bobby Jr. goes next. You can start to kind of understand where certain picks are going to happen. Dalton Kincaid, really nice pick there for Bobby Jr. Weisberg takes the Bills defense. He cleans up there. IP Shade 45. Where does he go? He has that opportunity to double up now. Interesting how the person who is drafting last in each round, at the start of a round, can sometimes set the agenda. So IP Shade 45 did really well in this draft, I think. Kirk Cousins is the next player that he selects. Charbonnet, nice picks by IP Shade 45. Johnson, Tucker, McPherson. The kickers are going right now. I'm certainly feeling the pressure to take a kicker. I'll take Harrison Butker. Candyman next to go. As we finish out our mock draft, we'll review each team so we can kind of dissect where we like the picks, which picks we weren't crazy about. Cole Kmet goes next to Candyman. Jorge the GOAT making his final 2 picks of this mock draft. Appreciate all of those who participated in the mock draft today. If you guys want to participate in our mock draft tomorrow, just DM us on Instagram. That's Fumble Sports on Instagram. Again, just DM us, Fumble Sports on Instagram. We'll share a link with you guys. You guys can claim a team, participate in our mock draft. We'll do those around 1 o'clock, 1:30 about every day. So again, if you guys want to participate, that's DM us at Fumble Sports on Instagram. Candyman making his final selection of the mock draft after Brandon McManus went to Jorge the GOAT. Schultz went next, doubling up on the tight end position. Wide receiver, anyone I'm crazy about? Yeah, Zay Flowers. You guys know I love Zay Flowers. I think he's a stud. Cannot wait to take him in all of my leagues. I'm saying that out there to all those who are in my leagues. I am going after Zay Flowers. Dolphins, Chiefs, Sky Moore to Jr., Bass to Weisberg. He's big on the Bills in this draft. And the last pick for IP Shade 45 is going to be a kicker. It's going to be Younghoe Koo. So that is our mock draft for the day. Let's quickly dissect some of these teams. Jorge the GOAT went first. Went Justin Jefferson. Not surprised in a PPR that he went there. Amon-Ra St. Brown next. Love those 2 picks. He did double up on the Lions, but I really like Gibbs, so I have no problem with it. Also got Lamar Jackson. Just love the team that he built. You just look at, if he has a flex player of Samuel or J.K. Dobbins, that's a really good core. He waited on tight ends, only took David Njoku. Did take another one at the very end, but definitely somebody that might want to consider. You know, he might want to get a second tight end, maybe over the running back. Just something of note. Candyman took Jamar Chase, stayed with the wide receiver. Pollard and Harris, interesting combination of running backs. Devontae Adams, I like that pick. Joe Burrow, no issue there. Miles Sanders could have a better year than I think some people think. Really went heavy on wide receiver. Waited on tight end until the end and still did just fine. That's a lesson. You can wait on the tight end and still get good talent. I went with Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Brown. I reached on Mahomes. Normally, I don't take a quarterback in the 3rd round, but the idea of having the number 1 running back, the number 1 quarterback, that was really appealing to me. I took Calvin Ridley over Deebo Samuel. I risked it, didn't end up getting Samuel. I took Hawkinson, was happy about that. Felt like I could be a little bit better at my running back depth overall, but I like my team. Feel like this is a really solid one, especially in the starting lineup. Team 4 was an auto draft. Bijan Robinson. Interesting that he went ahead of Eckler. Just something to keep note of. Jonathan Taylor went in the 3rd round in this draft. Something else to be noting. Hall, Aaron Jones. Really liked this team actually overall. Waited on quarterback and got Watson and Tua Tagovailoa. Not bad. Team 4 for an auto draft. Thought it was pretty strong. Team 5, Austin Eckler. This is a pick where if it falls to you, absolutely take it. Went 3 good wide receivers in a row before taking Kenneth Walker III. Got Justin Herbert, middle of the draft. Not crazy about their team overall, but not bad either. Think they're going to kind of be an average team. Bobby Jr., just to look at how Bobby Jr.'s team came out. Bobby Jr., 3 good running backs in the first 4 rounds, but interesting. Wide receiver position, not great. Only 3. You waited and you got Sky Moore late. Probably could have gotten another good wide receiver at another point. Interesting that you went with tight end Mark Andrews over a wide receiver. So, could have gotten Garrett Wilson. Could have gotten T. Higgins or Olave or Devontae Smith. Probably could have waited on Mark Andrews a little bit longer. Tight ends really started to go in that 6th round. So you probably could have waited until the 5th round to get Andrews or even Hawkinson. So maybe that would have been the move for Bobby Jr. Why Weisberg, Kelsey, Kupp? You could argue those are the 2 best players at their position. I'm not crazy about Cooper Kupp, but some people really like him. Josh Allen, not a bad pick, but maybe could have waited on, could have gotten a running back instead of the quarterback, but he reached on it. Dameon Pierce, that being your RB1, not crazy about the running back. Really, the running back position for Weisberg, definitely weaker. Not a great draft overall. I think Weisberg was probably just feeling it out, seeing which kind of players that he's interested in, but I don't think this is a reflection of where he's going to go in his draft. He's someone who participates in some leagues that I know of. Chubb for IP Shade 45, I do like that pick. Tyreek Hill, like that one as well. Really think that IP Shade 45 did a nice job of setting the agenda for rounds that followed him, as opposed to kind of taking players that fell to him. I thought he did a really good job. I love what he did with the defense at the end. Like what he did at tight end. So really good depth for IP Shade 45. Thought you did a nice job there. I thought IP Shade 45 had a really good draft. Yeah. Mixon was an auto draft and a mistake, but other than that, I thought you did really well. Anyways, that is our mock draft of the day, and that's our show for the day. Hope you guys really enjoyed.